Hey, what's up, guys? So I just got these from eBay, and I have my little makeshift workbench here. And what I want to do is these old wooden boxes. Let me just show you. These are Snuff boxes and Vesta cases, and these are actually very old. Now, some of them, I think this one is possibly the oldest. It's made out of some kind of, I think, burl or burr. I don't know my woods. I'm not very good at that. This one's a beautiful carved wood. And it looks like it's probably Swiss or German and probably came from the Alpine region in Europe. And this one may have been Scottish or English. A lot of these ones are Scottish or English. And you can see it's hinged and it opens up. Now, it once held snuff in it. And snuff, I think, was like a crushed up tobacco. And it was highly prized. And it was highly prized, I believe, for several hundred years. And popularized more so in the 1700s and the 1800s. This one, I think, is, I'm not an expert on these old cases. This one is I believe a Vesta case or a match case. So it like held like matches in it, because it has like a little spot on here, I think, where you would strike matches, and then it slides off on the top, and you would put that in there. And I think this might be some kind of burr wood or maybe oak, or again, not an expert on woods. So what I want to do today is, because these are really, really gnarly looking, you know, they need a little sprucing up. What I want to do is I want to use Howard Restor-A-Finish in the color mahogany, because I think it might be a little too dark, but the other color I have is way too light, the cherry wood and the oak one. So what I want to do is spruce these old wooden boxes up and make them look better. So now, if you're going to use Howard, you can use the stuff you have around the house to apply it, like an old cloth, actually a steel wool pad, or a paintbrush, a cut up t-shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use a steel wool pad. I cut one of them in half to make it smaller, and I shook this up already. You have to shake this up, and I'm going to actually apply it onto my steel wool pad. And you can see the pigment and the product is on the steel wool. And let's check out how this works. I'm going to actually take the cover off. And the steel wool is actually the best way to apply it to older, scratched up, flawed wood. And it's actually making it nice and shiny, evening out the tone. And here's the spot that I did not do. You can see it's like dry and, you know, it's lackluster. This is actually quite fun. It's hard to do because it's so small that I had to touch it in spots, and it ends up coming off when I touch it with my fingers. Now, when you apply this, it's like an oil slick, and in spots you'll have too much of it on. So what you need to do, actually what I'll do is, let me see if I could do it this way. There we go. What you need to do is wipe the excess off after you are done applying it. And look how shiny it is already. Look at that. It's looking good, actually. Let me place it down one moment and try to get like the little top spot and the edges. I'm not going to do inside the box as much as I can. You know, I'm going to avoid that. Let me actually do the edges. Oops. It figures I would drop it. Now it's got grass and dirt all over it. All right. Let me work on the edges, and then I'll place it down and rub it along the top. All right. So what I'm going to do now is wipe the excess off. And it's like an oil slick. It's very, very slippery. Even though I have my gloves on, it is really, really slippery, guys. All right, so we got one down and 2 more to go. So actually, here we go. Look how much nicer the wood looks. This one's going to be hard because it has like nooks and crannies. So it's carved wood. So I'm going to have trouble getting in there. Actually, let me put a little more product on. And you want to go with the direction of the wood grain, but this is much harder to do since it's carved. I have to more go in like a swirling pattern to apply it. And already, look at that. That's looking way, way better. What I'll do is after this, I'm going to also polish it with Howard FeedNWax, which is a wax. Actually, it has beeswax and orange oil in it. And we're going to give this like a nice shine and polish and a glaze. Now, the beauty of Howard's is it's not like you're changing the original wood. You are actually just pretty much conditioning it and evening out the pigment on it. So now what I need to do is wipe off the excess. But here we go. And that looks a heck of a lot better than what it just was. Look at that. Probably will hit the back button by now. This is, oh my God, this is 7 minutes long. All right, you know what? Let's get this going quicker. And this is the last one, the burl. Let's see what happens. Now this is way lighter, so this worries me just a little bit, but actually it's fine. I'm scrubbing it just a little bit so it gets really inside that wood and soaks in there. I'm glad I have these gloves. Now with COVID-19, it's hard to get disposable gloves. So what I do is I just reuse them as many times as I can until my fingers end up poking out of them. And the fingers like break open. All right, so I got the excess off. And now you need to leave this on for 30 minutes. And wow, that looks much, much better. All right, so we're going to leave these boxes out for 30 minutes, and I'll be back and we'll polish them. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, so 30 minutes has passed, and now I have the Howard beeswax and orange oil FeedNWax. So what you need to do is shake it up really, really well. And generally, I put this on with a rag or a steel wool pad, but I'm going to put it on with a paintbrush today because these are such tiny little pieces. So this stuff is very, very goopy, and it'll help me actually get it, you know, the paintbrush will help me get it into the nooks and crannies. And once you put it on, you need to wait. I'm going to actually put it on this little thing here. You need to wait 20 minutes, and then you buff it up. So I'm trying to get it into all the nooks and crannies. Very, very slippery. And I'm using the same gloves again. These gloves have seen way better days. So you can see already it's getting shiny. And we have to wait 20 minutes. And then we're going to wipe it off and buff it up. I'm going to do the others and I'll be back in 20 minutes to show you the finished results. All right, guys, they're all done. Excuse the screeching in the background. I live in suburbia and there's always kids about. So the neighbors' kids are screaming on the top of their lungs and the dog is barking. Okay, so look how good they look. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to show you one at a time. Look at that, right? The Howards really did a phenomenal job. Look at that. And it shined it up, right? Look at that. These old snuff boxes are really cool. I'm going to show you my favorite one last and the oldest of the crew. So there we go. And this is, I think, a Vesta case or a striker that held matches. And look how good this one's looking. And the Howards again did a phenomenal job. Don't know how old this one is. My guess is anywhere between the late 1800s to the early 20th century. And last but not least, we have, oh my God, my neighbor's kids are screaming. Okay, we have this one. And it once, I think, had a design, as you can see there, that's long gone. And this burr wood, or burl, is gorgeous. I think it to be English or Scottish. And look at the shine on it right now. Look at that, guys. Now, I see a lot of people saying these are from the 1820s or the 1850s. Don't know how old it is, but I think it is my oldest piece. Look at that. So guys, once again, thank you for watching. This was a fun restoration project, and I'll see you guys all soon. So long.